Hello, it's the 17th of November. Welcome along to Renew Every Morning. I'm Paul Anderson-Walsh and I'm delighted that you're with me, so thank you for taking the trouble to. All right, well, we are moving into the next phase in our work in Safe and Sound. We've been thinking about the characteristics of love. And we've done the first phase, which was this, what we call the restraint phase. And today I want to begin the relation phase. And this is about how Agapé, when it begins to deepen, it's thinking about our orientation, love's orientation towards the other. And so there are some big characteristics in here that we're going to see. We're going to do them one at a time, as we always do. But let me just give them to you because it's worth just giving you the heads up on these. So love is not self-seeking, all right? So that in itself is an interesting statement. We'll talk about that. It's not easily provoked. So again, just think about just think about these statements and just how they kind of connect with you, what they do in just inside of you when you hear them. So number one, love is not self-seeking. Now remember, this is all to do with our relationship toward each other. The first phase was about us being safe sons, the psychological safety, the environment we're creating. Now we're thinking about how we orientate towards the other. So we're not self-seeking, not easily provoked, keeps no records of wrongs, thinks no evil, and rejoices in the truth. Now, really importantly, we want to try and see this as from a double aspect. On the one hand, I want you to understand this is what love is. God is love. God is not self-seeking. God isn't easily provoked. God keeps no record of wrongs. God thinks no evil. God rejoices in the truth. Now, you are love, and you too are love. His nature indwells you. And these truths in time become our truths, become our lived experiences. And it's so lovely because if the restraint phase is kind of love mastered within, love learning to be safe, then relation is about love beginning to venture outward and move outward, becoming shared. It's turning from the soul of preoccupation, if you like, to self-preoccupation with the idea of self-giving. And where the first movement, if you will, kind of purifies us, the second fills us. And this is this lovely notion, we're empty to be filled, that's the point. It's the place where love learns just to look beyond itself and to see truly. And this is kind of like the illuminative way, if you like. This is the phase in which the heart, now quieted, begins to see with God's eyes. We begin to see clearly. It's really lovely. It's the kind of awakening to this kind of relational wisdom. Love no longer acts for self, if you like. It acts, how shall I say it? It doesn't act for people, but it's more to do with being a presence with people. Does that make sense? It's more about being present and being presence with people. So this first characteristic, love is not self-seeking, is this idea of love's freedom from possession. And this is very, very important. This first phase names this fundamental shift from having to being. Self-seeking is a kind of instinct to acquire, isn't it? Attention, affirmation, advantage, don't know what it is. It's the transactional impulse of the awakened ego. What will this bring me? What's in it for me? But Agapé can't ask that question because it has nothing to lose and nothing to gain. It's this lovely self-emptying nature, the kenosis, as the Greek fathers called it. And this is really what we're interested in here, where the ego says, I need you to make me whole. Agapé says, you're whole, therefore I can serve you freely. And this lovely idea of non-self-seeking is this beautiful idea of presence without possession. It's the freedom from this inner need to be right, to be recognized, to be rewarded, and it just allows the other to be. So this is a powerful, powerful idea we're gonna dive into. So let's just see for a second about what we've got, what's on offer here. So love is not self-seeking. That's our statement. And always when you hear love, hear God. God is not self-seeking. It's not in his nature. That's the key I want you to understand. It's not in God's nature to be self-seeking. And let me just remind you of something. We have become partakers of the divine nature. Therefore, it's not in our true nature either. Okay? Now, nobody likes selfish people, right? So why would you want to worship a selfish God? It just makes no sense. That the impression that I get from so many people is that they see God not only as selfish, but almost kind of egotistical. So it's really, really, really important that we ask ourselves, what does it mean to say that Agapé, God, is not self-seeking? Now, first of all, the word seek means to kind of make a search for, or to inquire, to try, or to want, to get, to ask, to, or to request. At another level, it means to single out for companionship. Yet Agapé cannot do that for itself. It can only be them for others. You see, it's fixed. And this fixedness is something we need to get fixed in, settled in. It can only search for, inquire, try, want, get, ask, request, single out for companionship for others. Do you realize that the Bible rarely, if ever, I'm thinking now, but rarely, if ever, speaks of receiving love? The experience of love is not when you receive it, but when you give it. And that's one of the trickiest things in the whole world for us, learning to live loved. The reason we don't love living is we don't know how to live loved. It's a tremendous concept, but it's an even greater challenge. If we begin to rise to it in any sense, we'll do well to reflect on the fact that for love to love, it can never require anything from that which is loved. You hear that? Now just think about that as a kind of big ticket point. How do you just engage with the fact that God wants and needs nothing from you? Just think about that for a moment. Because that is big stuff, right? That God doesn't need anything from you. Just take a minute with that. Because to me, that is like almost, what on earth are you saying? But this is so important, because what we have to see this is there's a kind of there's a sort of integration. There's a build here for us. You see, because we said before in the first movement, that was this lovely idea of talking about inner safety, and now we're talking about relational freedom. You can't be if I need something from you, I can't really be in a loving relationship with you. That's super complicated. So this idea of not self-seeking, of love not being self-seeking, is this freedom from craving to be fixed in a place of contentment. And it's freedom from the need to possess anything or anyone. I mean, it is, in simple language, is non-attachment. And it's just absolutely extraordinary. And that we would come to a place of healing and hope and wellness, that we could just absolutely grasp that. So just let's hold on again as we just wind this section up. Love is not self-seeking. It's not easily provoked. It keeps no record of wrongs. It thinks no evil, and it rejoices in the truth. Now remember what we've said. This first step then in this second phase is this fundamental shift from having to being. Self-seeking is the instinct, if you like, to acquire, as we've said. But that's not an instinct of love. It's not that way. Love does not function like that. It's this beautiful idea of just being able to, the relinquishing of craving. Craving always wants something more. Love always wants something for. And those two never coexist. Where the ego says, I need you to make me whole. Agapé says, you are whole, and therefore I can serve you freely. It's a really powerful idea, and I pray that you just sit with it and embrace it, because it is such a joyous idea. So let me finish by saying this then, that non-self-seeking love is the art of presence without possession. It's the freedom from the inner need to be right, from an inner need to be recognized, from the ego's need to be rewarded, and it allows the other just to be, and it finds its total and utter joy in their being. Imagine love, Agapé, God is not self-seeking. I hope you are feeling encouraged by that. All right, God bless. See you tomorrow.